Hello, welcome to Read to Me, Auntie. I'm Auntie, and I love me some snow. So whether it's snowed outside at your house, or maybe you wish it would snow, or maybe it's warm and you're trying to get cold, let's read a fun snow book together. It's right here. This one's called The Mitten, because what do you need when you go outside and it's cold? You need something to protect your hands. And this is the perfect book to read about a mitten. Now, let me tell you something about this book. Actually, let me see if you notice it. There's something fun about this book that's a little extra and different than any other book. Let's see if you can notice it while I read, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. All right, let's get to reading. The Mitten by Jan Brett. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother Baba did not want to knit the white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came shuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered in prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. And then he decided to move in also. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled, but when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox, trotting by, stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal could argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whisker, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nick saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. The end. Well, did you notice what's different about this book? It gives you a little hint as to what's going to happen on the next page, right here in the corner. Let me show you. See, right before the fox shows up, there's a little picture of a fox. It's so cool how on every page it kind of gives you a hint about what's going to happen next. That's a fun thing about this book. Well, the whole book was really fun, and I was amazed that that mitten held all those animals. And I'm also glad that the little boy found it, because he would have been in big trouble had he not. Well, I'm glad you came and read this cozy little fun animal book with me. We read all kinds of good books around here. In fact, I have a lot of books about snow. So if you need it to snow, you probably should watch all the videos. It's not scientifically proven, but I think it would help bring snow to where you are if you watched them. All right, well, remember, the most important book in the whole wide world is the Bible, and that's because it has the answer to everything you need in life. All right, we'll see you next time.